So Donald Trump, I want to say about a month or two ago, maybe a little longer. Everything sort of meshes together now in my mind, but he used a quote that it became a big deal because people were like, holy shit, do you realize who has said that before? So the point he made in the rally was, immigrants are poisoning the blood of our nation. And people went to the history books and found out very quickly that that exact quote was used by Adolf Hitler. And yeah, that's not, this isn't an example of like, well, Adolf Hitler enjoyed ham sandwiches and I do too, so therefore I'm like Hitler. It's not a moment like that. This is actually directly relevant and pertinent when it comes to policy in a way where Trump and Hitler are using the same rhetoric. That's a problem. This isn't like Hitler loved dogs and Trump loved dogs, therefore, so Hitlerian. No, it's like talking about immigrants as like dirty outsiders and vermin poisoning the blood of our country. That's really bad, man. That's really bad. It is like classic dehumanization 101. So, Trump said that a while ago. The media went nuts. And in classic Trump fashion, he realized, I hit a nerve. I got a lot of attention when I said this. Let me do it again. So he went in a rally, said the same thing. And now the media is starting to ask other Republicans who are backing Trump, hey, what do you think about this kind of language? And the way they're handling it is weaselly, to say the least.
I do want to get your reaction to something that former President Trump said overnight. He was in New Hampshire. He was talking about the need to keep immigrants out of this country. Here's what he said. I'll get your response.
They're poisoning the blood of our country. That's what they've done. They poison mental institutions and prisons all over the world, not just in South America, not just the 3 or 4 countries that we think about, but all over the world. They're coming into our country from Africa, from Asia, all over the world.
The Biden campaign has accused former President Trump of, quote, parroting Adolf Hitler. What is your reaction? Are the president's comments representative of how you...
By the way, let's be clear, it's just factual that is a phrase Hitler used.
76% of the American people, not Donald Trump, believe the border is broken. They're worried about fentanyl coming over and killing their kids.
But what about his language, Senator? Just that language, that poisoning the blood.
I'm worried about an outcome. He is right. He had the border secured, the lowest in 40 years in December of 2020. To the Biden administration, you're talking about Donald Trump's language, as you said on the sidelines, and allowed the country to be invaded. 172 people on the terrorist watch list have come on your watch. Fentanyl is killing more Americans than any time in history.
Just on the language.
I just want to point out, when he said 172 people on the terror watch list came in, first of all, the terror watch list is totally made up. Total bullshit. There was no due process or adjudication or evidence being presented. No, totally made up. Okay, that's the first point. Second point is, the reason why we know the number is because these people were caught. This is like when they say, they seized X amount of fentanyl coming in the country. Yeah, so they stopped the fentanyl from coming in the country, which is what you like. If Trump did that, you'd be like, oh, yes, our glorious leader stopped the fentanyl. So it's bullshit, but it's like pulling teeth. She's like, wait, no, what do you think about the language he used? Here we go.
Endorse former President Trump. Are you comfortable with him using words like that?
We're talking about language. I could care less what language people use as long as we get it right. I believe in legal immigration. I have no animosity toward people trying to come to our country. I have animosity against terrorists and against drug dealers, but I understand why people want to come to America. But we have chaos and we need to create order. If you think you're going to win the debate on illegal immigration by picking a line out of the Trump speech, most Americans understand the game has to change, that we're under threat, that we're going to get attacked, that our border has completely been obliterated. So if you're talking about the language Trump uses rather than trying to fix it, that's a losing strategy for the Biden administration.
Do you think he would appeal to more people, though, if he chose different words on that argument?
I think the president has a way of talking sometimes I disagree with, but he actually delivered on the border. People are looking for results. If the only thing you want to talk about on immigration is the way Donald Trump talks, you're missing a lot.
Just finally, is it the position of the Republican Party that African and Asian immigrants are poisoning the blood of the people in this country?
No, it's the position of the Republican Party that we've lost control of the border, that terrorists are coming, that there's never been a higher threat to the United States from a terrorist attack from a broken border. But immigrants, people coming to America, we are many people coming to be one. We've lost control of our border. There are people coming here who are selling drugs. There are people coming here raping and murder, and there are people coming here trying to have a better life. The terrorists are coming here to kill us. After October the 7th, how easy is it to get into our country through a broken border and kill a bunch of us? To my Democratic colleagues, you're not going to get away with keeping this border broken. If you can't commit to securing our border, we're not going to have a deal.
All right, so first of all, let's just address this from a factual perspective. I showed you this the other day, but I want to remind you. This is from the Cato Institute. This is a right-wing think tank. New data show migrants were more likely to be released by Trump than Biden. According to new data published last month, the Biden Department of Homeland Security has removed a higher percentage of arrested border crossers in its first 2 years than the Trump DHS did over its last 2 years. Moreover, migrants were more likely to be released after a border arrest under President Trump than under President Biden. In absolute terms, the Biden DHS is removing 3.5 times as many people per month as did the Trump DHS. These figures are important to understanding how each administration has carried out border enforcement. During the Trump administration, DHS made 1.4 million arrests, what it calls encounters, in fiscal year 2019 and 2020. Of those people arrested, only 47% were removed as of December 31st, 2021, which includes people arrested by Trump and removed by Biden, and 52% were released into the United States. Under the Biden DHS, they made over 5 million arrests in its first 26.3 months and removed nearly 2.6 million, 51%, while releasing only 49%. In other words, the Trump DHS removed a minority of those arrested, while the Biden DHS removed a majority. Biden managed to increase the removal share while also increasing the total removals by a factor of 3.5. So, in other words, there's this narrative that the right humps 24/7. Oh my God, Democrats want open borders, bro. Biden wants open borders, bro. Oh my God, they're so lenient on the borders, bro. This is crazy, bro. You're allowing in Hamas and Hezbollah and terrorists and it's oh my God, be afraid, bro. It's total bullshit. In fact, you all know this. There were some court cases around it, but early on in Biden's time in office, he kept in place Remain in Mexico and he kept in place Title 42. Those are Trump-era rules. So he's actually very similar to Trump on the border. Now, there are left-wingers who attack Biden over that. You want to know why? Because they don't agree. And those people are coming from a place of dealing in reality, where they're like, I see the facts, I see the numbers, I see the policies, I don't agree, I think he's too far right-wing, I'm going to go after the president on that. God bless to those people. They have a position based on the facts, based on reality, and they react accordingly. These right-wingers, they just make up what Biden's position is and what his record is, and then they attack that. Literally, in these negotiations on the border, Biden wants more money for Ukraine and Israel. And the Republicans are like, well, unless you give us border security, whatever we want, we're not going to do that deal. So what did Biden do? He turned around and went, okay. Why? Because he's not against their position. He agrees with their position. They have this caricature that they beat up all day, is straw man that they beat up all day of who they think Biden is. But Biden is not the guy that they think he is. This is just like Obama. They attacked Obama on the border. He had the nickname the deporter in chief because he had deported more people than any other administration in history up to that point. So they're not dealing in reality. That's the first point. The second point is, guys, he couldn't even say that's bad language. He couldn't even say that. He was squirming. And then at one point he was like, yeah, he's right. He said, yeah, he's right. Because I care more about the policies. Well, again, Biden is being very similar to Trump. You have nothing positive to say about Biden. But more importantly, the fact that you can't say, yeah, that language is unacceptable. It's like, how much further would he have to go before you're like, you know what? Reel it in. Would he have to say, these are subhuman vermin who need to be eradicated? If he said that, would you be like, well, I mean, there are a bunch of, MS-13 coming across the border. Maybe he's just referring to them. Like, I think, and this is the thing that drives me crazy in today's day and age. Everybody lives in this postmodernist world where it's like, they make everything debatable. Like, you could take the most abhorrent statement imaginable, but put a positive enough spin on it in your own mind to where you say, I'm going to defend that now. This is what's happening in Gaza right now, where Israel's doing a very obvious ethnic cleansing and a genocide, but you have people trying to convince themselves, like, actually, no, it's not true at all, bro. It's just like a hunt for Hamas, bro, and Israel's being the good guys, bro. The fact that literally anything and everything becomes debatable, that's where we are now. That's where we are with this. He quotes Adolf Hitler directly. Immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. And the Republicans are not like, yeah, that's wrong. Don't say that. That's not right. That's not okay. They can't bring themselves to do it. How pathetic is that? And by the way, this all stems from the notion, oh my God, they're criminals. Like Trump said when he launched his campaign in 2015, oh, they're criminals. They're rapists. I assume some are good people. This is what he said. Well, when you actually look at the data, both documented immigrants and undocumented immigrants, so legal and illegal immigrants, they have a lower crime rate than native-born Americans. So even that notion, oh my God, they're disproportionately criminal. That's not true. Then they'll keep moving the goal. Oh my God, they're sick. They're bringing in disease. This is one that's been for forever. This argument is, oh my God, the immigrants are dirty and they're sick. Well, my counter argument to that is very simple. Who's like the people in society who spread sickness the most? I think you all know. Stop and think about it for 1 second. Children. Should we be anti-children because every time they go to school, they come back with a cold or a flu or some sickness, some virus? No. We just say, well, what do you mean? Like, they're our kids. We look after our kids. We take care of our kids. Kids are good, right? So why wouldn't the same mindset apply to immigrants, especially because, I mean, I saw that clip that went viral the other day, this immigrant coming in through the southern border, and he did an interview, and it was just a quick little thing where they was like, hey, why are you coming here? And he gave like the most American answer of all time. Like, I want to work. I want to work. I want to build a better life. I want to pay my taxes. I want to create a community, right? Like, that's as American as it gets. But they look at, and there's this whole idea, this notion of like immigrant work ethic. When you say that, it's not like, oh, that means they're lazy. It's quite the opposite. It's like they have that immigrant work ethic. They come in and they build everything from the bottom up. Very pull yourself up by your bootstraps type of a mentality. And like the idea that, oh, they're lazy or they're sick or they're dirty or they're poisoning the blood of our country or whatever. These are all, look, this is all a way of saying, I don't like them. And why does Trump not like the immigrants? And he listed the places. Oh, they're coming in from, of course he means like South America and Central America and Mexico, of course. But then he also means, he said, Asia and Africa. Huh. Interesting. What do all of those share in common? Huh. Maybe that they're not white. So, look, it's not, there's no more plausible deniability anymore, right? When you repeatedly quote Hitler on this, like, we see what you mean. We see what you believe. And still, even at this late date, they act like, no, I understand what he's saying, and his actions are more important, and I agree with his actions, and so even if the rhetoric's a little, it's not necessarily what you think it is. No, it is exactly what we think it is. It is exactly what we see. And you can't gaslight us. I mean, shit. I mean, I'm just trying to imagine a scenario in the opposite direction to see how it would go, right? Like, I don't know. If Biden said that, would they attack him? I don't know if they would. This might be one of many, very few things they're actually principled on, where they're like, we have a principled stance in favor of using fascist rhetoric against outsiders. I don't know, man. But there you have it. Squirming, basically saying he's right when asked about the most deplorable rhetoric imaginable. Again, how much further would he have to go before they say, I disagree? What would he have to say? The immigrants are subhuman vermin who need to be eradicated. Then would you say, I condemn it? Would he have to call immigrants from Africa the N-word for you to condemn it? I don't know. But if they can't condemn this, I don't know what they will condemn. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.